After you've learned to fire in cadence, you'll move on to 2 exercises in simulated rapid fire. For the first of these, you'll use the clip with the wooden block. On the command targets up, you'll go from standing to the prone position and squeeze off your first shot in 9 seconds. Then, you'll get off each of the next 7 rounds of your first clip at 4-second intervals. But there won't be anybody to call off these intervals for you. Your cadence exercise will have taught you the rhythm. When you hear 8th round, reload, you'll simulate reloading. And you'll have 9 seconds to do it and squeeze off your 9th shot. Once again, 4 seconds each for the next 7 rounds. When you hear last round, you'll still have 5 seconds extra before the command cease firing. This exercise is done in a total of 79 seconds. All right, let's see how it goes. Lock, simulate load. Ready on the right, ready on the left, ready on the fire line. Targets, up. Good. First round. The first shot should be fired in the first 9 seconds. You've got 4 seconds for each of the next 7 shots. 4. Ha. 6. 7. Your 8th shot should be off by the time you hear this.
8th round, reload.
But remember, you count your own shots. If you fired the 8th round before you hear reload, you don't have to wait. Reload immediately. 10. 7. 12. 13. If you keep your fire rhythmical and steady, you'll get off your last shot just as it's called. 15. 16.
Last round.
If you don't, you still have 5 more seconds to finish up without hurrying.
Firing.
That's your first exercise in simulated rapid fire. But before we go on, there are several things I want to point out. In all of your rapid fire exercises, be sure to count your shots aloud, as you heard Private Oss do just now. By counting the shots, you know exactly what's left in your clip, and you're ready to reload when you should, which saves time. But there's another reason. You've got to use the air in your lungs to call the number, and that forces you to breathe at just the right time. But don't get the idea that counting aloud is just a training exercise. You'll call the numbers out in battle, too. And your reasons for doing it will be the same, but a whole lot stronger. In combat, knowing when to reload will save more than time. Getting caught with 1 round in your rifle when the enemy is coming at you is as good a way as any to put an end to your career. When you're firing, keep your eye on the target all the time. Don't look away. If you squeeze your trigger properly, the recoil will jerk your head up a little, but it'll fall back with the rifle. And when you have to look away to reload, be sure you get back on the right target. On the range, the prettiest dead center 5 on the wrong target goes down on your score as a 0. And remember, the habits you're forming now are the ones you'll take with you into battle, where your target is hard to see and is easily lost. In dry runs, the command bolt is not given. The coach listens for the click of the hammer and strikes the operating rod handle back the second he hears it. When you simulate, or pretend, to load that second clip, don't hurry it. If you do, you'll only cheat yourself out of some valuable training. Don't do it as Private Auster's doing it now. That kind of exercise is worse than none because it creates bad habits. Go through your simulated reloading exactly as if you were handling a clip. A fumble in reloading when you're firing for record would knock your score into a cocked hat. That's your first exercise in simulated fire, and you'll practice it in the prone, sitting, and the kneeling positions. You're allowed a total of 79 seconds for the prone exercise, but only 74 seconds for the sitting and kneeling. 7 seconds instead of 9 to take the position and fire the first round. 8 seconds instead of 9 to reload. And 3 seconds extra instead of 5 at the end. Except for the positions and time, the sitting and kneeling exercises are exactly like the prone. The purpose is to teach you to keep the proper cadence, even though no one is calling bolt. Once you've learned this, you'll repeat the series using dummy rounds and no wooden block. The timing is the same, and the performance is the same. But with dummy rounds, you must learn to load a fresh clip quickly, and that's a trick in itself. As you take the clip from your belt, grasp it at the base and near one edge between your thumb and forefinger. Then carry it forward, swinging it up until the bullets point forward. Place the clip in the receiver and slide your thumb forward along the top of it to the center of the cartridge. Double your fingers up, out of the way. Raise your arm and press the clip down into the receiver until the clip latch engages. As you raise your thumb, the operating rod handle should snap forward. If it doesn't, strike it with the heel of your hand, and your rifle is ready to be fired again. Here's how a trained rifleman reloads in the prone position. In the sitting position, and in the kneeling position. When you first do these exercises, you'll feel that 79 and 74 seconds are going to rush you. But there's plenty of time to get off those 16 shots. So don't try to beat the clock. That won't help your score. When you get on the range, you're scored on your hits. Don't get buck fever. The stopwatch is important, but don't let it push you around. Don't be in such a rush that you spray bullets all over the target. If you're going to shoot wild, you can get all your shots off in 30 seconds. But don't do it. When a recruit does, and then turns and finds an old-timer beside him just loading his second clip, well, he feels like a fool. Take it easy. There's no time to pick daisies, but there's plenty of time to fire 16 shots and get 16 bullseyes. And remember, even 12 bulls are better than 16 threes. So don't get excited. Slow and careful. That's the rule that brings in the high scores on the range. And it's the rule that mows them down in battle. Up to now, we've been discussing the pupil and what he does. Now let's look at the coach. In rapid-fire exercises, he's got plenty to do, and not much time to do it in. In addition to his other duties you already know about, he makes sure the pupil takes his position quickly and without waste movement. That he takes up the trigger slack with one decisive action and squeezes the trigger correctly.
4,
That he breathes after each shot.
5, 6,
That he keeps his finger on the trigger.
7, 8,
And that when he reloads from the belt, he doesn't fumble. The moment the hammer falls, the coach throws the operating rod handle back sharply and gets his hand out of the way.
10,
In rapid fire, the coach is the key man. He's got to know his stuff
12,
and keep his eyes open. If he's on the job, he can help his pupil a lot,
14,
and himself even more.
15, 16,
Any questions on rapid fire? All right, let's sum up. Rapid fire is slow fire speeded up a little. In rapid fire, just as in slow fire, you take the right position, hold your breath, and aim properly, and squeeze your trigger smoothly, even if you take a little longer than you should. Speed? Yes. We count the seconds you take, and we work you against the stopwatch. But speed is worse than useless unless you do everything right every time you do it. Take it slowly at first, and make every movement exactly as you should. Speed will come of itself. And it won't be long before the right way is the natural way for you. The only way. Then, when you find yourself in a tight spot in battle, you won't lose your head and blaze away wild. That's the quick way to the cemetery. And for my money, a good soldier is a live soldier. Dependable habits will make you calm and cool and confident, and you'll hit what you're shooting at. That's pretty important, when what you're shooting at is shooting at you.